The Mandalorian doesn't ever end. But we've seen the story before. It's so familiar. The gunslinger opens the saloon doors and saunters up to the bar. The room gets quiet. Someone starts to mess with him, and after some tense small talk, shit goes down. But just when you think it's over, there's always one more.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Dude, that is just so badass. That's why this show feels so comfortable, and that's exactly why it bothers me. As much as I love the show, it never really ends. Not because his story is failing, but simply because we won't let it. And honestly, that doesn't really bother me because I've watched Star Wars since I was a kid, but there's a galaxy of stories I still don't know. But The Mandalorian is one that I'm most afraid they're going to ruin. Maybe it's because ending his story might collapse the myth we've built around him. Or maybe it's because he's one of the only live-action Star Wars shows that still prints money. Well, besides Andor, which, let's be honest, that just proves that they can get it right sometimes. But are we actually ready for Djarin's story to end? It's obvious Disney isn't. I'm not sure Star Wars is, and I'm really not that sure that fans are either. Now, I love The Mandalorian. I love Westerns, and Djarin is probably my favorite Star Wars character right now. But usually, Westerns end. The threat is dealt with, the town exhales, the gunslinger holsters his weapon, story over. Except not here. Because with Djarin, there's always another town, another quest, another version of the same moment where he rides in, gets outmatched, barely survives, wins, and moves on. And we cheer every time. At first, that just felt like the tradition. That's just how Westerns work. But the longer this goes on, the more it starts to feel different. Not heroic, not tragic, just unfinished. This is where I used to stop thinking about it, and honestly, that was easier. Because if the story never ends, you never have to watch the legend fall. This is the version of Din we want to freeze. Armor on, rules clear, myth intact. But even Luke had an ending, whether we liked it or not. Vader had an ending. Obi-Wan, Yoda, their story's all finished, and it cost them something. Din hasn't paid that price yet. And I don't know if that's necessarily a flaw. Because the moment his story ends, he stops being a legend and becomes a man who can disappoint us. So yeah, The Mandalorian doesn't have an ending, not because the story is failing, but because we're not ready to see what happens when it finally does. And if you like thinking about Star Wars this way, stick around for the next one, or check out this video where I talk about Darth Maul.